Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to explain why it's so vital you use the gas and then the clutch when you move off in a manual car, and why anyone who teaches you differently is wrong. I've been a driving instructor for over 20 years and I've taught over 1,000 people to drive, and this is without doubt the biggest thing people get wrong. So let's turn the car on and let's start looking at this. So now the car is on, you'll be seeing lots of information on the screen. You'll be seeing the front of the car, the interior, the pedals, and I'll probably even put the speedo on and the map as well. So why is it so vital you do gas and then clutch? To put it very simply, if you move off using a clutch alone, you haven't got sufficient power to pull the car along. So this is what a lot of instructors will teach. Then I know this because people say, how do you know this? I've been in the job for over 20 years, well over 20 years. I've trained many instructors and I've taught over 1,000 people. So this is not my opinion. And if you want to see proof of this, go and look at the other two videos in this series. I made my first video, which is called something like Gas Then Clutch. I made that one back in 2015 and it's been one of the most watched and most copied videos that I've done. And look at the comments in that video. There are dozens of comments from people saying, my daughter was taught this and she couldn't drive after passing. My son was taught this and he wondered why he kept stalling. People have been in crashes because they were taught how to move off incorrectly. So let me show you how to do it properly. The way you do it is clutch down into first gear. So I'll check around. Now the order of this can change depending on your experience. We're not going to get too much into that. This is mainly about the pedals, but I teach in a method called POSH, which is prepare, observe, signal, handbrake. So you prepare the pedals, gas. Now I've got an extra microphone on the dashboard, which you'll be hearing come on and off when appropriate. Now at the moment, the revs are just below 1, and I'm deliberately not showing you the rev counter, because when you get taught to look at the revs, that's bad, because you don't want to drive staring down like this. You want to be looking up and around. What's going on around you, not staring at the rev counter. You can do it by listening. So the revs are on about 0.75. If I rev gently, revs up to over 1. You want it to sound something like that. Now experienced drivers will say, oh, that's not good because you're over revving. And no, you need to understand that people who watch this video and people who are learning. This isn't the perfect way of doing it that I'm doing now, but this is how to do it to begin with. Clutch, first gear, hear the gas revving, you can hear it. Now the thing is, when I look and signal for that car ahead, I can bring the clutch up pretty much as quickly as I want and it goes. And that's the point, because if I pull up again here, and I'll show you how you don't do it, which is what a lot of people teach. A lot of people teach to do the clutch first, and this is what can happen. You lift the clutch to the point. Now already you've got it wrong, but can you hear what the car is doing? Listen, I'll keep quiet. I'll turn the heater below whatever down as low as I can. In fact, I'll turn it off. Listen to what happens when I lift the clutch pedal. You hear that? What's the car doing for me? Hear it? I'll do it one more time. Listen to what's happening when I lift the clutch. You hear the gas revving? That's the car doing the gas for me, because it's saying, hey, you need gas, I need gas, I'm going to put the gas on for you. The accelerator is being done for you. So anyone who ever says you don't need to do the gas first is wrong, because there are many ways I can prove this. It's written in this car's manual. In the manual of how to drive this car, it will tell you to press the accelerator before lifting the clutch. In the DVSA book, Essential Skills, which is the book written by the DVSA that they go by the driving test. It's what they judge the driving test on. It says, with your right foot, press the accelerator. With the left foot, slowly lift the clutch. Gas, then clutch. And if any instructor ever tells you that's wrong, ask them, please tell me why you're not teaching according to the official DVSA guidelines. Why are you going against what it says in Essential Skills? Right, I'll tell you why they do it. There are several reasons. One is because they're just sick of telling people to do the gas, and they're lazy instructors. And when I train people to become instructors, this is something you do. you deliberately do it wrong, and this is what used to happen. I won't get too sidetracked here, but it's important you know this to prove this is correct. There used to be a test, there still is a test, called ADI Part 3, where a driving instructor has to teach, to prove they can teach, to get their badge to become a driving instructor. Now, the way it used to be done, it was the examiner would role play a pupil. The examiner used to pretend to be a pupil. Excuse my coughing. If you don't know, I've just had surgery on my throat. I don't want to keep saying that, but that's why I'm coughing. The examiner used to role play as a pupil, and what they would do is they would deliberately get it wrong. They'd move off using the clutch alone, like this. Now, notice it works, but I'll explain that in a moment. And they keep doing this wrong, and they'd want the instructor to be saying, press the gas, and they would deliberately do it wrong. And if the instructor was to say to them, hey, you need to do the gas pedal first, they'll say, really? That's not what it says in Essential Skills. And a lot of driving instructors would cave and they think, oh, because they're new instructors, they think, oh, I've got it wrong. Oh yeah, go on, just keep doing the clutch first. You've just failed. You checked your Part 3. Why? Because the examiner, and I've seen this at test centres, the examiner would say, I was wrong. But you're an examiner, the instructor would say. But you're an examiner. Yes, I'm an examiner. I'm role-playing a pupil. And that's what pupils do. They will insist that they're right. They'll insist that they've seen videos telling them to do this. It's wrong, and you've just failed, and you're not a driving instructor. You have to press the gas first. It's the official guidelines from the car manufacturer, from the DVSA. And what happens if you don't press the gas first? Well, I'll show you. And spoiler, it's not going to stall. It will work. Without the gas, it will pull away. Like this. And people say, well, it works without the gas. What's the problem? The problem is, as I've explained many times to many people, and they've explained this to me as well, that will only work in certain cars. This car is a diesel. Now, diesels have got a lot of what you call torque. And yes, I still haven't made the video, let's talk about torque. I said I made that 10 years ago. Torque is a measurement of an engine's ability to mix fuel and air to create motion. In other words, it's how much grunt it's got. It's different to power. Think of power like when you hit something. That's power, right? That can be power. And I know from my training in martial arts, all these things come together to make me the instructor I am. You can have power. You can be a really big, beefy person. You can punch. You can have a weak punch. Look at Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee could knock people backwards. Go and watch videos of this. He did something called a 1-inch punch. He'd put his fist 1 inch from someone, punch them, and they will go flying back 20 feet or more. It's incredible to watch. Because Bruce Lee didn't have power. He wasn't a big, tough guy. He was quite small, skinny. But he had torque. He knew how to punch. If you really want to know, go and read his book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, and read about how he did it. It's incredible. That's torque. Torque is like how effective your method is, not the power. So diesel engines have a lot of torque. That's why they can move off without stalling. But if you get it wrong, let's see what happens if you move off using the clutch alone. And people say, why have I stalled? They've passed the driving test and that happens to them. And they've got cars all around them. They're in a busy roundabout. People are blasting the horns. People are shouting, why have I stalled? Why have I stalled? So they turn the car back on. And they think, oh, I've stalled. So they do it again. And they do this. I've stalled. What's going on? Something's wrong with my car. Something's wrong. And I've had people who have been taught this. And they've even paid. I think someone left a comment on one of my videos. They paid to go and get the car inspected. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's because the instructor had taught them to do the clutch first. You don't do the clutch first because that had no power. Now people will say to me, as I said in my old video, oh, but you lifted the clutch too quickly. That's the point. There are times you need to lift the clutch quickly, as I'll demonstrate soon, on a busy roundabout. And if you don't do the clutch quickly, let's see how quickly I can move off. I'm just watching this man behind is very weirdly rolling back and forward and going at the curb. I don't know if you'll see that video, but there's a man behind me who's just reversing into the curb and going back and forth. They're probably wondering why I'm stalling. But let's see how quickly I can move off without the gas. So without the gas, that's as quick as I can do it. It's alright, but I won't get you away in a roundabout. Now let's see how quickly I can do it with the gas. So, I know I'm changing the order a bit. Again, the order is not the main point of this video. Rev the gas. Look how quick I get away, and I'm off. And I'm so fast the wire falls down. If you haven't seen my other videos, that wire is a bit of a measure as to how fast the car can move off. Because whenever I move off quickly, that wire falls down. I'm going to go around this van simply because there are some people in that van giving me a very strange look wondering what I'm doing. So I'm going to go around here and pull up, hoping you'll see me in the shadows and the trees. Did you see how much quicker that was? Now I know in the video it's a bit hard to see because it's not like being in a car. The video is slightly curved, you can't see exactly what I can, it doesn't feel the same, you're disassociated. If you don't know, not only am I a driving instructor and a driving instructor trainer and a martial artist, I'm also a hypnotist. So you see how I've combined all these things together. So yeah, why did I mention I'm a hypnotist? What was I going to say about that? What was I saying now? I was saying about moving off quicker, about these people laughing at me. But yeah, you need to understand how all these things work. You need to get away quicker. There was a reason I was going to mention I'm a hypnotist. If I can't remember what it was, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, it's the way the mind works, the way people think. It's incorrect. That's not what I was going to say. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but why did I mention I'm a hypnotist? I was going to say something about that. I'll have to put it in the description. I can't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, all these things, all these skills I've got to come together, and I understand the mind, the way people think, and I understand why people think it's clutch and gas. It's not. One reason is because people naturally, human nature, they want to make things as easy as they can for themselves. So some instructors will let pupils do the clutch first, like this, because it's easier. And I'm not going to go now because the car's just pulling out from over there. It's a good thing I was looking around. But some instructors teach it incorrectly because they honestly just think it's clutch first, which is very worrying. I even met an examiner once who thought he was clutch first, and he was a bit embarrassed when I had to explain that to him. Some people, the instructors, they will know it's wrong, but they can't be bothered because even when you teach this, you teach people gas, clutch, they still don't do it. And they think, oh, I'm sick of this learner, I've told them 100, 200 times, 1,000 times, they're still not doing it, and they just give up, they can't be bothered. That's why in the old days they used to test you on tests. The examiners would see if you were going to give up. They'd see, is this instructor going to keep telling me and telling me and telling me? And if you did, you'd pass. If you stopped telling them, if you gave up, you failed. So, you see why it's got to be gas and clutch. I'm now going up a steep hill. Clutch alone will work. Yes, it can work, but if I do clutch alone, it's slow. See how slow it is? And it struggles. Many cars, that just won't work. And there was a time, I think it's when I filmed the second video in this series, Return to the Biting Point, I think I called it. I think I had a petrol Fiesta then. If I remember, something was wrong with my car and I had to have a petrol one. And people said to me, oh, it's stalling because you're lifting the clutch too quickly. It's the whole point, right? You should be able to lift the clutch quickly, it doesn't stall, because when you're getting away on a busy roundabout, that wire falls down again, you should be able to do gas, clutch, go, get on with it, go, 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 and now there you go, it's gone again. That isn't the fastest I can do it, but that's just an example of how fast it is compared to without doing the gas. And this wire is not there in driving lessons. If anyone's going to say, oh, it's dangerous to have a wire falling down, that wire is plugged into the camera when I'm doing lessons. It only ever falls down when I move off quickly. So, that's why it's got to be gas, then clutch. And as I said, if you do the clutch first, the car is saying, oh, no, let's do it again. Let's listen to when I lift the clutch and my foot's come away from the gas. Listen to what the car does. It's revving. It's saying, get the gas on, I'm going to struggle. And I can move off without the gas, but struggle. It struggles are mad. Now, many people worry about making noise with the engine. I was talking about this today with my speech therapist. He was saying what's one of the biggest things people get wrong, and he said they don't rev the gas. People go, oh, I don't like that. People, oh, I'm going to blow the engine up. I even had a pupil, I think I told you this story once before, I had a pupil who came to me who said that their instructor had told them, this is what they said word for word, if you ever press the gas pedal before you lift the clutch, the engine will blow up and kill us. They've been told that if you ever press the gas now, the engine will blow up. Did it blow up? Did it kill me? Or am I still here? And the pupil was terrified. I remember this pupil. I remember exactly where we were. We were by Edgbaston Cricket Ground, by Birmingham City Centre. And I was saying to them, press the gas when you move off. And they were going, "Rah, rah, I'm going to die." They thought they were going to die. Because they've been told the engine will blow up and kill you if you press the gas. Did I die? Oh look, I'm still alive. I haven't died. Right, now you don't want to over-rev it like that. You can rev too much and be putting too much power through, and you can strain the clutch. Yeah, that's true. But if I do it again, do it a sensible amount. As long as the revs are about sort of 1 1/4, even below 1 1/8. It's different in different cars. Even that's okay. Let's move off. It's smooth. How easy is that? And I'm going to give you a massive tip now, which is something a lot of instructors don't teach. And this is, and I'd like to point out, by the way, I don't hate other instructors. Sometimes people have said, why do you hate other instructors? I don't hate instructors. My aim is to raise the standards. I've always been interested in raising instructor standards, which is by getting everyone better. And many instructors have watched my videos and said to me, hey, I was doing that wrong. And I've watched videos of other instructors and said, oh, I was getting that wrong. I've had instructors come up to me at test centres and say, I've watched your videos and it was really good, I didn't know that. They don't want me to name them. And I said, yeah, that's what I do them for. I don't hate instructors, I want to raise everyone's standards. So I do it, so I can put this out and say to everyone, hey, this is what I think, these are my ideas. And not just my ideas, these are the official DVSA rules and guidelines. So, the one massive tip I'd like to give you to make moving off easier, and I did a separate video on this, is pausing the clutch. Many people teach to do this. They teach you to raise the clutch slow, 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 and it stalls. That's not actually what you do. You lift the clutch to the biting point, pause, dead still for 2 or 3 seconds, and when you feel the clutch pedal go looser under your foot, you can then lift it as fast as you want. So watch my foot now. I'm going to do no signal, no one's around to see. Gas, clutch, pause, 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 lift. See how fast I lifted my foot then? I've deliberately, violently lifted it. It isn't about just lift, 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 slowly lift. It's about lift until you feel the car pull. Then you pause it. So let me show that one more time, then I'm going to go for a drive and show you this on the move. So I'll signal, just in case. Gas, clutch, pause, 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 fast off. Boom, there you go. You notice that if you'll have heard that sound, there was some gravel on the floor there. That's fine if you get a bit of a slip on gravel. Even with traction control, you can get that. Let's go for a drive and let's show you. Well, this isn't the best place to show you. Normally it is, but there are roadworks here. This keeps happening to me recently. I keep getting roadworks up here. I had that in a video I made on a big roundabout. I'm going to go to a roundabout. I'm just looking at what's going on there. I'm going to go to a roundabout where you need to move off quickly, because there are many times when I will say if you plan ahead you don't need to be quick. And one of the signs of a bad driver is sudden movement. If drivers are suddenly, oh, swerve, 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 oh, brakes, oh, swerve, swerve, and they say, oh, I'm brilliant, I've got the quickest reactions ever, that proves you rubbish. Because if you're reacting, you're not as good as someone who can plan ahead, see things coming, and not have to react, because I deal with the problem before it even becomes a problem. Like now, braking for that van, ambulance, whatever coming towards me. Down to first, it's not an ambulance, it's a glass van. Move off, second, even down the hill, gas then clutch. The hill in a way is the gas. I'm going to get to the roundabout, which is normally quite busy. I'm going to go right, third exit. So mirrors, signal, brake, can't go, one, roll. I don't want to stop, I probably need to, but a roll, I won't be able to go just yet, so gas, clutch, creep, using the slingshot method. Can I go? No. Yes, gas, clutch, go. Off I go. In second, checking the mirrors, check the van's going to stop, signal, off I go, remove the signal up to third. If you do that from the other way, as I'll do next, you won't get away if you don't do it quite quickly. I'll go and turn around in quite an interesting little road here. So I'm going to go down this next left. So gas then clutch is Very important. It's essential really. So I'm going to go down here. I passed the road, I thought I was going to go down. I'll go down here. Just want to go and see if this road is still like it used to be years ago. I could just go down that way, but I want to go down this way. I thought I was going to come in here. I was busy telling you stuff and I went past the road I meant to go down. So, braking, rolling. Now I can go clutch down, roll. I don't need the gas first now. Why not? Because I've got momentum. So I'm not exactly moving off there. I already had about 15 miles an hour worth of momentum. So I just carried on and let the impetus help the momentum of the hill pull me down. I'm going to go around here. I just want to see if it's still here. It probably still is. Yeah, it is. It's a very strange little roundabout. It's not really a roundabout, but it's like a little tree in a roundabout. No need to indicate here. Give way to the right, I suppose, no one there. It's very odd. Yeah, I'm going to go clutch down. Oh, you're coasting. Forget that. Roll. Select first. Don't need the gas now. Why? Because I had momentum. You see, the momentum is what you're lacking when you're still. That's why I need the gas. But if you're moving, you've got momentum. Now again, it does work in some cars. Without the gas, yes, this is the road I meant to come down. You can move off without the gas in some cars, but not in all of them. And you won't know this until you get one where it doesn't work. And believe me, I've had cars, like that red one there will be like it. That would not work without the gas, probably, I'm guessing. But I've driven many different types of car. And there, see, I'm doing gas clutch. You don't have to rev it loudly. You don't have to hear it screaming. Don't over rev it, don't strain it, but you must hear it. End of the road left. Brake, use the power of the brake. Clutch down, let go, or give, I should say. Absolutely happy about that. So I saw her, gave way. Roll, lights on red, check, gas clutch, check again. The final check's important, off I go. I shall go ahead, second exit. So I'll do my mirrors, and this is where I often need gas clutch. I'm going to pretend it's busy, so I'll slow down even though I could have gone. Get away, gas clutch, pull away, go, get on with it, the wire comes out. Get on with it. You don't want to be there doing clutch, stall, struggle. I can't stress how important this is, right? Please do gas then clutch, because if you don't, you're going to have such problems after you pass your driving test. Like I say, I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've heard this over and over and over again. And I've had one, I think it was last week, yes, someone came to me and they said, I was taught clutch first. Right, it is not clutch first, it is gas then clutch. And anyone who tells you anything else is wrong. Go and drive different cars. Go and get a petrol car with something like a 1 litre engine, not one of the new ones, not one of the modern kind of EcoBoost ones. An old-fashioned 1 litre engine or 1.2, something like that. Something like an old, I won't name car brands, but the cars I've had, 1.2, 1.4, and they'll stall. And those are the cars you may well get when you pass your driving test. I was going to say, if you get a car like that one coming towards me, the red one, those are the kind of cars you may drive, and you will stall and stall and stall and stall and stall if you are doing clutch first, and your driving instructor will have questions to answer. In the 20 odd years I've been teaching, over 20 years, I've never had anyone come back to me and say, I don't think you taught me to drive properly. Never, ever. And I'm proud of that, because I've had a lot of people come to me who've said they went back to their instructor and told them they weren't teaching properly. Gas then clutch is a safe way to do it. If you want to put it all in very simple terms, gas gives you car power to move off. I'll go back along this road and I'll show you again. If you're not going to use the gas, something I've said to people as a bit of a joke is, look, if you're not going to press the gas pedal, turn the engine off. Because if you're not going to use it, what's the point in it being on, right? That's one way of looking at it. Gas, then clutch now, gas, clutch. I know on the video you won't see that well, but that crossroads has got a very poor view, it's very limited. So I did gas, then clutch. I'll go down the road here, just for a bit of a change, I'll do a different road. Things like this now, I could do mirrors, signal, I'm in third. I don't have to come down second, I can brake, the view is really open, I can go in third. If you're being told you've got to come down second for corners, it's wrong. You don't have to. You drive according to the conditions. So if you're moving off down a hill, sometimes you don't need the gas, that's fine, because the hill is giving you momentum. But this is what I always say, if you're taught to drive properly and well, you'll be taught the universal way that works for anything. I don't teach people to just drive in a diesel, just drive in a petrol or whatever. I teach in a way that will work all round. No one around, so I don't need to indicate. When I move off here, I can move off in second, and I don't need the gas because it's down quite steep hills. Hills don't really come across well in videos, I know, but I can check around. I can signal for the cars coming, let it roll a bit, clutch on its own. It works. Why is that okay there? Because there's no one around. I don't need to go quickly. I'm down the hill. I know the car well. I know the area well. So it works. I'm going to turn around here. I'll do a 3-point turn for a bit of fun. Now this is how, when you do it properly, you should be able to do this kind of speed. You should be able to turn roughly like this. And I'll show you something there. Something there from what I was saying. Here we go. This is what I meant to say earlier, and I didn't. This is about hill assist, because these are all the things people have said over the years about, oh, you should have done this, and what about this? And people say, well, what if you use hill assist? If you don't know, hill assist, hill hold, or hill still, depending on what you want to call it, is a system where the car holds the car holds itself still for you. So when you're on a hill, so if I put the brake on now, I can check around for safety. When I come off the brake, the car should hold itself still for 2.5 seconds. Then it will roll back. Now people have said to me, oh well, that proves gas and clutch is wrong, because the point of that is it allows you to lift the clutch. No. If you read the manual, the car's manual, it says, I can't remember the exact wording, but it says something about the hill assist allows you to press the accelerator before the clutch or something like that. It says it allows you to set the gas before moving off. So the point of hill hold is gas, clutch. So you don't need a handbrake on, you don't have to keep going handbrake on, off and off. But it does say in the car's manual, if I can find a link to that, I'll put it in the description. But I know I read in the manual for this car, it says something about hill assist allows you to come off the brake and then set the gas. More proof, that's what it's made for. It's not meant to be done like that. And that brings me to a very important point. If you are being taught to move off by holding the foot brake down and lift the clutch, change your instructor immediately. That is terrible teaching. This is what most instructors do from my experience. Hold the brake pedal down, lift your clutch, and then go. And it seems fine. And you know what? You'll pass your test for doing that. And people say, well, people pass the test. That will wreck your car. When I was learning to drive, sorry, but I get so excited about many videos. When I was learning to drive, I remember my driving instructor turned up for a lesson one day, and she was really angry. And she said, I've just been down the garage and they dared to tell me that I've been teaching people to drive incorrectly. She had been. She'd been teaching to hold the brake down and lift the clutch. In case you wonder why I've ever got such a bee in my bonnet about this gas clutch thing, it's because that's what I was taught when I learned to drive. And it cost me dearly, in a way I won't say. I was taught this rubbish, and I believed it for years. And I used to be one of these people who thought, well, I'll lift the clutch with the brake on, what's the problem? When I went to become a driving instructor, I had an excellent trainer. He was really good, this man. I don't know whether he's doing it anymore. This was over 20 years ago. And he said to me, he said, oh, young man, we've got some things to talk about here. Why are you moving off? I was a young man at the time. Why are you moving off, lifting the clutch and then brake? And I said, well, that's how you do it. And he went, I could tell, this is where I got that from. My experiences of becoming a driving instructor, I swore blind that it was hold the brake, one, lift the clutch with the brake on like this. This is what I was taught to do. That van's going to move off, lift the clutch with the brake on, and it works fine, right? You may have heard the sound there. Do you know what that sound was? That was the car not liking it at all. And this driving instructor I had said, how dare the garage tell me I was moving off incorrectly? She was, and she taught me incorrectly. And I got to, I think the next instructor I had taught me incorrectly, and it's only when I became a driving instructor I learned this thing about gas clutch. I remember once when a car broke down years ago, I think it was the one where, I was teaching on a Sunday morning. It was funny, and one of the pipes in the engine had a small hairline fracture. And I remember we had steam coming out, and all the steam was coming out the bonnet, and the car was filling with like diesel fumes. It was horrible. I couldn't breathe. And many people were coughing. She had to phone her boyfriend to come and pick her up, and he was laughing, thinking she'd blown the car up. It was just one of these like freak things that happened. There was a tiny crack in the pipe in the engine, and the fuel was coming out of the engine and spraying on the engine and setting fire to itself. And why was it? When I talked to the breakdown mechanic who came and gave me a tow, I was talking to him about gas clutch, and he said, yeah, gas clutch, definitely. He said, don't over-rev it, but it is gas clutch. And that's the mechanic saying, yeah, it's a lot of people wreck the clutches because they use the clutch on its own, and it strains it like mad. It's like, you will wreck your car doing clutch on its own. If you do too much gas, that's also bad, but do it properly like this. No on their own, in a four. Gas, clutch, move off, pause the clutch, pause. Easy, it works, and off we go. So it's gas clutch. What more can I say? It is gas clutch, and anyone who tells you any different is wrong. And the best way to prove it, go and drive cars that are like 1 litre cars again, not the modern ones. The very modern ones are actually really good. I drove a 1 litre Fiesta EcoBoost, and it felt just like a diesel. And I remember the man in the showroom laughing. I said, oh, it feels like a diesel. And he said, is that a good thing? Because he didn't like diesels. Now, let's just get around the corner. This is a very important skill because, back to where we began, one reason I mentioned I'm a hypnotist earlier is because the way you fix people's problems of driving is by taking them back to the beginning. You often take them back to childhood. There is a very cryptic clue in this video. I wonder if anyone will work out what it is. Why have I come back to the beginning to end this video? What message am I telling you? Maybe you won't know till 2026, or maybe 2028 or 2029. Let's not forget 2027. But what message am I giving in this video? No one has ever spotted the cryptic clue in the first gas and clutch video. I don't blame you, no one ever will. But there was a very cryptic clue in that video that no one's ever worked out. Probably doesn't help that I turned the comments off a few years ago because I got tired of having so many comments. I may unpause the comments on my videos. Don't be suspicious of people. Oh, you paused the comments because people were saying bad things. No, it's because I went to become a hypnotherapist and I moved away from teaching people to drive. So I turned the comments off because I didn't want to keep answering comments about gas and clutch and all that. But I turned off the comments on my old videos as well because some were getting out of date. But what clue have I given you there? And I really wish I could remember why I was saying I was a hypnotist before. When I watched this video back editing, I remember what I was talking about. I was pulling up after the van, but I can't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something. There was a reason why I said that. I can't remember what it was, but I'll put it in the description. I wish I could remember. I can't remember now. So what more can I say? It's gas, then clutch. It is, and I've had this happen to me. It's quite funny. I was out shopping one day, and somebody in a shop shouted, gas then clutch. Because I've been recognised for my videos a few times. There's one funny time I was walking out shop and the security guard stopped me. He said, "Hey, stop." And I thought, I haven't stolen anything. He said, "No, I watch your videos." That was funny. So yeah, I hope you can tell from this video my enthusiasm, my passion for the job. I want to make more videos like this, and no doubt there's more stuff I could have said in this one. But it's gas and clutch. Go and read the comments on my other videos. Leave your stories in the comments section of this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know your stories about using gas and clutch. Now, if your car works fine with the clutch on its own, can you do that? Well, you can do it, but you've got to understand that the reason I say gas and clutch is I teach people who will then go on to become drivers in their own right. I'll turn off now. And I have to teach people who are going to drive a whole wide range of vehicles. So it's no good saying, well, this works in my car, so do that and you'll pass your test. That's a lazy instructor who does that. It's just, oh, getting through the test, yeah, it's getting through the test, who cares, getting through the test. Get my pass quotas, get my pass rates, not pass quotas. Get my pass rates up, yeah. Was that a Freudian slip? No. Lazy instructors, lazy instructors, I can't stand it. If people are paying you for driving tuition, teach them properly. Don't just do the bare minimum. Oh yeah, that'll work, yeah, clutch on its own, yeah, that'll work. Oh, the houses are nice around here, aren't they? Oh yeah. That's not an instructor, it's just someone driving around taking your money off you. I've been called by instructors the Rolls Royce of driving instructors. I do things properly, I do things by the book. I don't make a lot of noise, I don't make shock videos with crashes and shock things to grab attention. I'm the Rolls Royce, I just quietly get on with things in the background because Rolls Royce is very quiet, that's where that came from. And I just do things properly, it works. My methods work, people learn, people pass, and I quietly get on with doing things properly, while some people have like lots of noise, lots of stupid videos, and they're not actually teaching properly. So I would like to make more videos like this. There's bound to be things I've forgotten to say in this one, but this is getting quite long, and the camera, I think, is going to start to overheat soon. You see how warm it is? Oh, it's not too bad, but that camera often overheats. I am going to film more videos to pupils, and I know this video has been a lot of talking rather than just showing you the gas and clutch, but all you need to know is rev the gas and then lift the clutch. Use those tips I gave you. Hold the clutch still. It's not just clutch up, it's up, still, hold, and then go. And please understand, you can't learn to drive just through videos. You need to have lessons. It's a practical skill. You need to go and practice on the road. You can learn a lot from videos that help, but you can't learn how to drive just from watching videos. Having said that, check out my other videos on the screen now. Visit my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.